Have you ever looked at a piece of land, maybe your own, maybe just one you drove past, and thought, how could this actually make money? Not just, sit there.
Right, because often we think of land, especially if it's just vacant land, as, well, maybe an investment for the future, but also something that costs money year to year. Taxes, maybe some upkeep.
Exactly. It feels like a dream to own it,
Sure.
but then reality hits with those costs. It can feel like a bit of a drain.
Hmm.
But what if that land could actually turn into like a revenue generator, a real source of income?
That's the big idea we're digging into today. We're looking at how to unlock that hidden financial potential in your property.
Yeah, we're going to unpack some really interesting ways to make your land pay based on this great article, How to Make Money Off My Land. The goal isn't just covering costs, right? It's about creating actual income.
Absolutely. It's about shifting how you see the land. The source material really pushes this idea. Don't see it as static. See it as this unique investment that can, as they put it, kick its value into overdrive.
I like that. Kick its value into overdrive. It's not just a place, it's a tool.
Precisely. A financial tool just waiting for you to figure out how to use it best. And there are, honestly, quite a few ways.
Okay, so before we get into the how, let's quickly touch on why land is kind of special as an investment. What makes it different?
Well, our research pulls out some key things.
Right. Like, first off, generally there's little to no maintenance compared to, say, a house or even a car. No leaky roofs, usually.
Exactly. Much less hassle day to day.
And then there's the sheer flexibility. Flexibility to do what you want, maybe ranching, maybe farming, maybe a hunting lease. We'll definitely get into that.
Freedom to choose its use.
Plus the classic one, long-term appreciation. Land tends to go up in value over time.
A traditional benefit for sure.
And the costs are often minimal, right? Lower utility needs, maybe some vacant land insurance, but usually way less than a building. Our source even mentions health advantages, just getting out there.
Yeah, the fresh air, recreation.
Yeah.
It's got those perks too.
So it's this bundle of benefits.
And that's the foundation. Those benefits are exactly why it has this financial potential. Because the carrying costs are often lower, any money you do make has a better chance of becoming real passive income.
Right. It can cover the year-to-year costs and then hopefully add to your bottom line.
Yeah, the trick is figuring out which natural advantage of your specific land you can turn into that cash flow.
Okay, so let's talk strategy.
Yeah.
If someone's looking for the easiest way in, the most accessible starting point, according to the article, what is it?
Hunting leases. Hands down. The source calls it the best and easiest way for a lot of landowners.
Hunting leases. Okay. And what's the main driver there? What makes them so viable?
Deer. Simple as that, really, especially in North America.
Deer. Wow. Why deer specifically?
Well, think about it. They're everywhere. Most abundant and sought-after game species lives in all 50 states. They're a huge part of the sporting goods economy.
Huh. Didn't realize they were that central.
Oh, yeah. And hunters find it thrilling, rewarding. It's relatively accessible compared to some other big game. And let's be honest, the article mentions delicious.
Haha. Okay, fair point.
So all that creates serious demand. Hunters are willing to pay for good access.
That makes a lot of sense. So if you, the listener, have some land, even just a bit, with deer around, what's the potential value? How do you even start to figure that out?
Right, and this is where it gets interesting. The value can be pretty significant. Hunters will pay regardless of your state, basically, especially if it's good whitetail habitat.
Okay.
And if you've got other stuff too, in abundance of other critters like turkey or whatever, that just sweetens the pot, makes the land even more valuable.
So how do you price it?
Good question. The practical advice is key here. You need to know what's on your property, species-wise. Then, crucially, talk to neighbors. Talk with other landowners to see what they're charging per acre. That gives you a baseline.
And are we talking just enough to cover taxes, or?
Oh, it can be way more. The article says flat out, if you're in an area that's known for trophy deer, leases can fetch many thousands of dollars per year.
Wow. Thousands.
Yeah, potentially. It's not just pocket change. It can be a real income stream. And here's the encouraging part. You don't need hundreds of acres. The source says leases as small as 20 acres still present a viable option.
20 acres. Okay, that opens it up for a lot more people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially if that smaller plot is prime habitat.
Think about different regions, too, like the Midwest. Those smaller wooded lots surrounded by farmland, they can be richer in deer, especially trophy deer, because they offer cover.
Ah, okay. Makes sense.
And you see absentee landowners, they're leasing out farming rights and hunting rights. double dipping.
Smart.
Then you go to the southeast with all the pines or the busy northeast, maybe less farming, so hunting leases become your best bet there. Even out west, with huge tracts that might seem empty, their article hints there are still ways, maybe focusing on migration corridors or specific species. That's really helpful thinking regionally. Okay, so that covers what's on the land. But what about digging deeper? Literally, what's under the surface?
Right. The article brings up natural resources, oil, natural gas. This is maybe less common, but potentially way more lucrative. Especially if, like the source says, your neighbors are raking in profits. That's a big clue.
Yeah, that would definitely get my attention.
And the upside here can be huge. People who strike oil or gas often get a steady revenue stream that lasts for years. It can be life-changing.
But it sounds complicated.
Oh, absolutely. You're stepping into a whole different world. The article really stresses this. There are a whole host of legal issues. Mineral rights versus surface rights are often separate things. Negotiation contracts, environmental rules.
So not something you just jump into.
Definitely not a DIY situation. The advice is clear. Get a professional involved from the outset. You need a landman or a lawyer who specializes in this stuff.
Okay, professional help is a must. So this could be a path if your land isn't great for farming or maybe even hunting.
Exactly. If you don't have the best land for farming, this underground black gold is a good option if you can find it. It's a totally different way your land can generate significant income. Needs research, needs experts, but the potential is there.
Okay, from under the ground, let's look up at the trees. If you've got heavily wooded land, timber harvesting comes up as another way to, quote, bring you some serious dough.
Yep, timber is another major asset for many landowners, and it can be a way to recoup some of the money spent on the property relatively quickly.
How does that work? Do you just call someone to cut trees?
Well, there's strategy involved. The article outlines three main approaches. First is thinning.
Thinning.
Yeah, a logging crew comes in, takes some trees, but leaves most of them. It's actually good for the forest, promotes new growth, reduces disease risk. It's like managing the forest for long-term health and value.
Okay, that sounds responsible. What's next?
A select cut. It's kind of like thinning, but usually smaller scale, maybe targeting just a particular kind of tree, often valuable hardwoods. But the source notes it's not as widely practiced on small plots. Might not be worth the crew's time unless you have enough of that specific wood.
Gotcha. And the third one sounds like the big one, clear cut.
Right. Clear cut means just what it sounds like. They take all the timber in a specific area. This usually gives you the biggest immediate payout for the timber itself. Yields the most, as the article says.
But I imagine that dramatically changes the land.
Oh, absolutely. Big visual change, big impact on wildlife habitat, at least temporarily. We'll circle back to that implication.
Okay, but before we do, let's say you decide to harvest. How do you make sure you're getting a fair price? It feels like an area where you could easily get shortchanged if you don't know the market.
You nailed it. That's a huge risk. The article gives a really important word of caution. Most people are ignorant of the prices of lumber, especially hardwoods. They just don't know what a load is worth.
So what's the advice?
Educate yourself. Before you agree to any price from a logging crew, call a local mill and make sure it's one not connected to the crew you might use. Find out what they're paying. Get independent quotes.
Ah, smart. Do your own homework on pricing.
Exactly. Could save you thousands. Also, consider hiring a professional forester. They represent your interests, manage the sale, often get you better prices that more than cover their fee, and help ensure it's done sustainably.
That's great practical advice. Okay, so back to the clear cut. You said it has strategic implications beyond just getting the timber money.
Yeah, so you get the immediate cash from the timber, which is great, but clearing that land also opens up the possibility of another revenue stream.
Which is?
Livestock and farming. Suddenly you have open pasture where there used to be dense forest.
Ah, okay, but there's a downside, right?
There's a trade-off, yeah. All that logging activity is going to make deer and other animals scarce for a while. So you gain potential pasture, but you might lose hunting lease income, at least short term. It's a strategic choice.
That makes sense. It's a perfect lead-in, actually, because if your land is partially cleared, maybe from logging, or maybe it was always more open, the article points to adding livestock once grasses have returned.
Right. Cattle, maybe goats, sheep. It's a natural next step for cleared land.
But this sounds like more work, doesn't it? More hands-on than just leasing it out.
It definitely requires a little more hands-on involvement. No question. You're caring for animals. But the source also says it's extremely rewarding.
Rewarding how? Financially? Personally?
Both. Potentially. It's a way to connect more with your land, maybe even your neighbors if you get into local markets. And yeah, it can be financially viable too. Plus, fresh food.
True. What about getting started? Fences? Gates? Sounds like some setup costs.
Yep, there are some upfront expenses.
Yeah.
Fencing is the big one usually. Gates, maybe a water source. But the article suggests that, quote, overall cattle and other livestock will pay for themselves faster than you might think.
So the investment can pay off relatively quickly.
That's the idea, with good management. And remember, you don't have to raise the animals yourself. The article mentions you can also lease farming out to other companies.
Ah, right. So you could lease the cleared land for someone else to graze their cattle or grow crops.
Exactly. Lease it for crops, lease it for hay, lease grazing rights. So even if you don't want the day-to-day work, that cleared land still holds income potential through leases.
Wow, okay. We've really covered a lot of ground here. From hunting leases, which seem pretty accessible,
Often the starting point.
to digging for oil or gas, which is complex but potentially huge.
High risk, high reward maybe.
Then managing timber for income, whether through careful thinning or a clear cut.
Strategic harvesting.
And finally, using cleared land for livestock or farming, either doing it yourself or leasing it out.
Yeah, quite a range of options.
It really drives home the point that land is this investment unlike any other. It doesn't just have to sit there costing you money.
Yeah, exactly. So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
I think the article sums it up perfectly. You face a choice. You can use it as a tool to help you grow financially or allow it to cost you money. It's an active decision.
It's about seeing the potential, isn't it? Seeing opportunity instead of just expenses.
Precisely. Moving from just owning it to making it work for your financial goals.
This whole deep dive, it's really shifted my view. Land isn't just static dirt or a nice view, it's dynamic. It's full of possibilities if you look strategically.
Which brings us to a final thought, really a question for you listening. If you have rural land, or maybe you're thinking about buying some,
Yeah.
what's its hidden potential? Is there some black gold underground? Is it prime trophy deer habitat?
What could you do, maybe starting this week?
Yeah, what's one small step? Could you check local hunting lease rates online? Call your county forester about timber value. Just look into who owns the mineral rights. How could you start churning that asset into a real financial engine?
Something to definitely think about. Explore those avenues, see what value might be waiting right there on your property.